Straight Talk Sales and Marketing Podcast, episode number 10. Welcome to Straight Talk Sales and Marketing with Janet Clark. Are you ready for more sales, more clients, and more cash flow? This podcast brings you direct, honest conversations with sales and marketing masters each week. Now here is your host, Sales and Marketing Master, Janet Clark.
Hello and welcome to Straight Talk Sales and Marketing. I'm your host, Janet Clark, founder and CEO of The Freedom Shift, and you are in the right place if you are an entrepreneur and you want to close more sales. So today I have the pleasure of interviewing Alex Harris. Alex is a marketing guru. He is the founder and CEO of AlexDesigns.com. And he is also the host of a podcast called MarketingOptimization.tv. Alex is a web designer, but it's not just about designing a beautiful website. It's about making it profitable and getting a great return on your investment. So I'm really excited to be talking to Alex today and to introduce you to him because for the last few weeks, we've had a lot of focus on sales. And while we know that sales is crucial in our business, so is marketing. And they're not mutually exclusive. They really have to work together, which is why, of course, this is called Straight Talk Sales and Marketing. So today, let's talk to Alex and learn some key concepts about marketing. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you for having me, Janet.
Well, you're very welcome. We're thrilled you're here. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be such a marketing genius.
Well, it really has come down to trial and error and experience through many years of frustration and beating my head against the wall, trying to figure out how to get my message out there and identify with the right audience, create products for that audience, and then grow my business over time. So me starting out, I started out on the web about the year 2000, the beginning of the internet .com boom days. I started working for a very popular diet and fitness website. And one of the first projects I was given was to create an HTML newsletter that drove traffic to landing pages. Now, not many people were doing this in 2000, 2001, and I was like, this is the best way to get the best return on your investment from the traffic that you're receiving. Because it doesn't matter how much traffic you get, how much social media presence you have, how many Facebook fans. If you're not converting any of that traffic actually from sales to leads, then you're never going to be able to really build your business. So working at this .com, as the first web designer, I built the web design team, I became the creative director, and I learned sales, marketing, coding, and really all the technical aspects of running a .com business. And then in 2004, I turned that into my own business where I built my business on the side, and I ended up staying there for really a long time at this .com. I was there for 11 long years. But during that time, I was building my business on the side. And in 2011, it finally came my time to take my web design business home and create that lifestyle opportunity that I want. And I was really unemployed for just about a half hour of my drive home. And I was able to start my freelance web design business focused on conversion optimization and marketing.
Well, I love these kind of stories because, my business is called The Freedom Shift. Mm-hmm. And I do encourage anybody that wants to get out of a job at a corporate or professional or to transition into being in their own business. And I do believe that anybody can do it, but they do need the right strategy. And so, let's talk a little bit about people who are, maybe in the process of starting up. Or they've gotten to a certain point, because I also work with a lot of people who, they've done okay networking and getting themselves to a point where they can generate a certain amount of leads on their own. But what happened to me in my last company, I had a company for 10 years in the telecommunications industry, and what happened was I got so busy doing my work that I didn't have time for the networking anymore. Yeah. And my whole lead generation strategy went out the window. Yeah. So it was feast or famine. I was either really, really busy working for clients, or I was scrounging around trying to figure out how to get my marketing going again so I could find clients. Mm-hmm. So this automated is what we need, right? We have to put these systems into place. So Absolutely. Tell us how to do that.
Yeah, we only have so much time or so much money in our lives every single day. It doesn't matter if you have 1 employee or 30 employees. You're only going to be able to scale so much. So within your own organization, you need to figure out what the most profitable opportunities are for you to spend your time on. So every week, you should have a plan of action. Maybe you get your client work done and you get your main job responsibilities done, but then you want to ensure that you carve out a specific amount of time every single day that you spend on changing your lead form or changing your lead magnet or talking to your audience. Because the more that you can spend time researching and dialing in who your absolute target audience is, then you can know exactly what products and services that they're going to want. So with me, in order to create a system, what I had to do is figure out what the most profitable opportunities were. So I wanted to create a podcast, create videos, create blogs, create infographics. I wanted to do everything just like everyone out there. So I needed to figure out a system to do that. And really, now it's the ability to take one piece of content or one idea for a marketing campaign and distribute it across all of those different channels. So let's say you wanted to create a lead magnet for the top 5 tips to create more sales and marketing, something general. I would take that one piece of content, I would create an infographic about it. I would take that infographic, create a slide share about that same topic. I then would learn it so much that I can actually do it for public speaking. So maybe I'd give a talk on the same exact topic as well. Then I'd create a video about that topic, and then I'd create a podcast about that topic as well. So now I have some great piece of content that I know my audience is going to want, and I distribute it across multiple channels. So that way, when someone goes to Google and they actually search for top tips for sales and marketing, I may be the one who pops up 5 or 6 times for one individual piece of content. So there's ways to really optimize or really improve the experience of the content that you put out there and ensure it's the best possible for your target audience, and that's the way I do it.
So let's start even before that. How do you pick these topics?
Yes.
How do you know that people want them?
Okay, absolutely. And this is the core of what I do. What I do is it's a buzzword, it's called conversion optimization. You have a lot of traffic coming over to your website, but the people who turn into leads, they convert. And that the metric of that is called the conversion rate. So we try to improve the conversion rate. We try to squeeze more people through our funnel from the traffic that we're receiving, a bigger ROI. So, in order to really do that, we need to understand exactly who our core target audience is, because you don't want to do that spray and pray method. You don't want to market everybody. You want to target individual people who are your direct avatar. So let's say that your audience is going from corporate to freelance. You know that those people have certain types of pains and problems that they're going through, and you may guess at what those pains and problems are, but until you talk to your core audience directly, all you're going to do is be making assumptions. So what you want to do is try to learn as much as possible from your existing traffic, and we do that by collecting qualitative data. We use tools like SurveyMonkey or Qualaroo or just regular email collection, but all the people who are coming onto your list, find out why they visited you, how they visited you. Was it a Google search? Was it direct? Was it referral? And then you'll start to see a pattern of why people are visiting you, what they want from you, and what language that they're speaking to you in. That way you can use that language and just use that in your own marketing material to talk back to them. And I break it down into just 3 easy steps. Discover, create, and grow. You want to discover your perfect target audience, know what their pains and problems are, and then create products and solutions to solve those problems. And then once you learn what's working, you can then take those solutions and scale and grow over time. So let me give you
Can you say what they were again? Discover what?
Discover, create, and grow.
Create and grow. Okay.
And a perfect example of this, if you have a problem, let's say, I did weight loss for a long time. Let's say that you wanted to lose weight. There's either there's many different kinds of people who want to lose weight. There may be the mother who wants to lose weight for the son's upcoming wedding. Or there may be the person who's in CrossFit and they're trying to get into a bodybuilding competition. Two people who want to lose weight in some different kind of way, but two completely different audiences. So what you need to know is what problems that they have. That way they go to Google, they type in, I want to lose weight for a wedding, and then you have a page that they arrive on, a landing page, that solves the problem that they're looking for. And that way you have direct message match to your core audience.
Wow. I don't know if I would even think to type that in. I want to lose weight for a wedding, but that makes sense. I mean, it's a totally different way that someone's going to lose weight if they're just trying to do it to look good in a dress versus, like you're saying, to turn everything into muscle and be, like pumped, right? So
well, people do things based on emotion. You maybe having a great week, and then all of a sudden you get a promotion in your job, and then say, oh, I'm going to start joining the gym and I want to lose weight. Everything's kind of based on events and emotion. So you kind of want to be there to support the problems that they have and be the solution.
All right. So, I love these interviews because I get to ask questions that help me, right, in my business. And I learn a lot. But then I assume if I have these questions that so do all these other people out there. But let's assume that, we have a lot of people listening in here who are entrepreneurs. And one of the things that they are really looking at is their web design. Because I know from just all of the people that I interact with that most people don't like their website. Either they put a lot of money into it and it's not doing anything that they want it to do, or they love the way it looks, but it's not doing what they want it to do, or they just don't even know where to turn to, create it, and they're basically dealing with something that is old and outdated and whatnot. What kind of advice would you have for people who are looking to get a optimized website, but are not at the point where they're ready to invest $20,000, or should they be investing that kind of money? I don't even know. Right. Talk about that, the return on investment that people should look at when they're hiring a website designer. I mean, there's so much to this subject that I want to know about.
Yeah, website design, I've been doing website design now for over 10 years. And, being, an artist, I'm a traditional artist. That's why I grew up doing drawing and painting. We become, as designers, very crucial about our designs. We become perfectionists. We want the most beautiful designs. And as entrepreneur owners, we want the same things too. But in order to become a profitable web design, you have to stop designing it for yourself and start designing it for the customer. Make it customer-centric. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean the customer doesn't like it. So you want to get inside the customer's shoes and start learning exactly what their feedback is. And that's what the key is to get as much feedback from a variety of people as possible. Because you don't want to just jump into a website redesign. Majority of the time, if you just go ahead and just blindly redesign your website, guaranteed your conversion rates are going to go down. Too many changes at one time cause too many problems, and you're not sure what those problems are. So if you have a low budget, what I recommend you do is you really dial into your core target audience and then understand what they're doing on your website. Let's say you have a just a general WordPress site. Maybe it's 5 pages, maybe it's 10 pages, maybe it's 20 pages. Majority of your traffic is going to come from about 5 to 20% of your pages. Those 20% of your pages are going to make up 80% of your traffic. So you want to focus on only those 5 or 7 pages. One of them is probably your home page, one of them maybe your lead magnet page, one of them being a landing page. So once you know what those top landing pages are, using quantitative analytics, going into Google Analytics, understanding what your top traffic pages are, what's bringing over your traffic, that's where the biggest opportunity is. So once we know those top traffic pages, now we want to dial it even further. What are they doing on those pages? Are they going over to the form and clicking on it and then getting an error and freaking out and not knowing what to do? So you don't want to just start making changes based on your own hunches or your own assumptions. You want to use core metrics so you have key goals to get people to the finish line. All you're doing is creating a map to get people in their ideal click path from wherever they're coming to the finish line. And you are the person who's going to direct them to the right place. So you want to continue to just spend time tweaking your existing traffic to get the most ROI. So let me give you a key example. I mean, this is straight talk. I want to give you actionable advice. Majority of people don't spend enough time on their lead form. They mostly put a widget on their side lead form. They make one headline, one call to action in the button, and they leave it there. They never ever change it for years. It's the worst thing you can do. You want to continuously change that opt-in box, whether you're using MailChimp or Aweber. You want to try different things. You want to try different headlines, try different buttons, try different lead magnets. That way, you can have that lead magnet or that opt-in box have the best conversion as possible. Because more than likely, if you're not changing it and no one's opting in, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. So, that's one of the things that I think is crucial, because the whole idea of building this list of ideal clients, I mean, I'm big about that, and understanding that, there's a gold mine in the list if you've got the right list. And, so can you talk a little bit about that, like different ways that you really help people to create their email list? And then there's more after that of what you do with it when you get it, but.
Well, there's a big difference between, building a list and generating leads. Before someone is potentially going to be a lead or prospect, you want to get them on your email list so you can build your brand. You want to, create a relationship with these potential people to build, show your authority over a period of time. So with building your list is that it all comes down to influence. Great book, Robert Cialdini, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, 6 key principles of influence: reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. Each of those elements can play into your marketing aspects. Gathering leads. The key to gathering leads is to give a lot of value up front. People want to work with people that they like, but they don't know who you are until you show your credibility. That's why you want to build yourself as an authority, create a podcast, interview the best people possible in your field, and you will start to be seen as an authority as well. Then you want to drill into your message. Add credibility like testimonials or seals of approval, Better Business Bureau. Adding social proof so people know that you're a credible source and you're not going to steal their information, you're not going to spam them or to steal their credit card information. And then you want to add scarcity. Have some limited time offers. This lead magnet is only available today or for this week only. Create scarcity, because scarcity creates urgency. Urgency creates demand. So what you're doing is you're building yourself in all these aspects of influence to become an authority and a credible person in your specific industry that you specialize in. That way, people can see you as the authority and the go-to person for those keywords that you're marketing to.
Yeah, that's great. So when you start your work with a client, do you spend a substantial amount of time in kind of digging into the keywords that they would be representing? I mean, is that part of like the first thing is creating that keyword list?
Well, yes, keywords are very important, but you want to know what the keywords that people are. They're called in Google AdWords, I believe they're called search queries based on conversions. So you want to know what queries people are searching for that are actually converting your leads. And all of this is in Google Analytics. This is, so what we do is we go through our process initially in the discover process of really understanding what the pains and problems of our target audience is for our clients. So I do a lot of e-commerce work. People who are wanting to buy stuff, a lot of times they don't know that they actually want to buy it before they arrive at our pages. So what we want to do is be the influencer to make them, push the buy button. But before they actually hit the buy button, there's a lot of micro conversions. So what you want to do is define the KPIs, the key performance indicators that we want to build metrics on. And that's where the quantitative aspect is. Now we're gathering data in Google Analytics and having funnels and figuring out where they drop off. And so we're gathering quantitative data, qualitative data, and we're building out ideal personas of who our target audience is and what they may do on our website. Because if you're not proactively changing your website to get people to the right place, then they're going to be just floating all over your website and not actually having any direction. But what people want to do on the web is they want to click and they want to scroll. Just normal stuff. So you want to give them the opportunity to do that, because everybody who visits your website is going to leave eventually. So what you want to do is build out a map so they can actually opt into your list and create a relationship. That way you can start delivering emails over a period of time, get that commitment and consistency, and show them your branding experience and what value you deliver. That way, eventually, people will be referring you without you even having to ask them.
Yeah, so I can be pretty safely saying here that, people are out there right now, they're listening to you and they're going, yes, I want that. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of an ROI people should look at when they do invest in, kind of coming up with this new optimized type of website? If they do make a choice to, take that leap and say, I'm going to do this right, what should they be looking at in terms of a return?
Once you have your defined goals in place and you haven't done any optimization yet, there's the set of tactics that we go through is called the quick wins process. We want to find out what the biggest wins are without spending the most time, in design or effort. And it's usually just taking the exact same information that you have and reorganizing it to make it simple, or reorganizing it to use the language that people are speaking in. That way, in the quick wins process, once you start to set up tests, you repurpose the exact same information you have in this new way, you should be able to double your conversion in really the first month. Wow. Because what we go through is usually the clients have great content and great information. They're just not telling their story properly.
Yeah.
Because when you arrive at a website design, within the first 2 seconds, you need to be able to clearly tell your story, and people have to understand what your unique value proposition is. And that's like a lot of marketing jargon for people who just want to know who you are, why they're there, why should they care, and what they should do next. And if you don't have clear call to action buttons, pictures of yourself showing authority, building credibility, then it causes friction. And people have to think, and people don't like to think. People want a magic button that they can push and get the results. And you need to be there to deliver that, overwhelm them with value, and build your reputation over time.
Yeah, and I can see that, and I know this from myself and a lot of other clients. I'm in my second year of building up my Freedom Shift business, and so what's happened, and I see this with a lot of my clients as well, is that they have, so we've done a lot of content producing, whether it's through hosting video summits, doing podcasts. I do a video blog every single week. I do a written blog every single week. I do, all kinds of different campaigns, and I have a lot of content, but it's really not categorized on the specific subjects that I could help people with, and and I don't even know if I could find what I was looking for when I really want to put my hand on it. So I can see where that it becomes a point where it's like, okay, somebody's gonna have to help me to put this into a format where if I'm confused and it's my stuff, obviously my clients are confused.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to work in a silo. Even though as solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, if you do work from home and out of the corporate office, you don't want to work in a silo. And that's what really the great thing about the web is these days, is that there's so many people out there who are like-minded just like you to really connect with. The benefits of mastermind groups, Facebook forums, membership sites really is to connect with other people so you can get feedback. Really, the key to success on the internet, it doesn't matter what you do, is how much feedback can you get about your material that you're putting out there and iterate. How quickly can you iterate and put it into action so you can get new results and have a new hypothesis to actually test? Because if you find out something that you want to learn and then you wait 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 years to implement it, that's all just money that you're leaving on the table. You're not iterating quicker, and you're not getting that feedback loop. How quickly you can gather feedback and then put it back into practice so you can test it. How fast can you fail? Because you want to fail really, really fast. That way you can learn not to make those same mistakes twice.
Spoken like a true entrepreneur, right? We fail forward. But I do agree that, failing is great, but winning is great too. So we have to make so many mistakes before we can actually feel comfortable that, we've figured it out. And, and like I said earlier, the things that I really enjoy is when I can talk with people like you and bring in people to the podcast that I interview, or whether I'm doing a summit or some way that I can find and make these connections, because it really is more about the connections that you can make with other people that literally create sort of your virtual team. Even if you have a team, you still need, like you said, the virtual mastermind, I guess, is even more important.
Yeah, I mean, networking has been probably one of the most important things in my career. Early in my career, I sought out to go to meetup.com and go to a lot of meetup groups or go to conferences for many years. And now, when I have my podcast these days, I reach out to someone. I may have met them years ago at conferences, and I say, now is the opportunity that I'm looking forward to really meeting you, interviewing you, and learning from you the most. Because it's those relationships and that networking that you invest in that's going to be around for the rest of your career, and that stuff is priceless.
So I don't know. I seem to be fallen into this habit now that I'm interviewing a lot of other people that have podcasts, which is great. And because I love doing my podcast, and I think it's a great marketing strategy, and I also think it's a great learning opportunity, and I know people love them. And I'm actually going to be putting out a program where I help people to build their podcasts. So can you talk a little bit about how that has influenced your business and why you do it, and what the marketing sort of benefits have been for you in that, other than just the fun of getting to talk to people?
Oh, the fun of editing video and editing shows and doing show notes. Oh, yeah, it's so much fun. No, but it really does come down to relationships. Podcasting will fast pace everything you do on the internet for one reason, that you have to be committed. You have to be committed and consistently put out content for your podcast, or no one's ever going to listen to you. And that way, you're going to be forced to be disciplined, and you're going to produce more content. But podcasting really is just another channel in your whole marketing campaign. It fits right there, right next to your YouTube videos or your blog posts or your Pinterest infographics or your Facebook statuses. Podcasting is just another channel for people to find you. People go to Google, they search for a specific query, and they want results. People go to iTunes, they search a specific query. I want to learn sales and marketing. I want to learn how to leave corporate. I want to learn how to get a new job. And you, as a podcaster, are there to fill their need with content. Then, over time, you build relationships with real people. You're in their ears, and you're talking to them about how you can help them. I mean, we're not only creating this podcast to learn for ourselves, but there's other people like us, so we have a message to get out there. And that's really what podcasting is all about. And really, for me, it's really made me more of a disciplined content creator. Now I see how much more opportunity that there is in my specialization, how much more opportunity there is to connect with other like-minded people in my industry, and it's really brought out, the best in me. Last year I would have told myself I was super introverted, I couldn't do video all the time, and just within 6 months or 8 months of doing my podcast, that's all totally completely changed. Now I'm in Toastmasters, doing public speaking, doing video multiple times a week, webinars, podcasts, and trying not to say or ah here too much. But it really has changed, been a game changer for everybody. And people like John Lee Dumas or Pat Flynn are being the models of success to show how you can do it yourself as well.
Yeah, and it's funny because we were just talking about this before we got on the air, but when we start doing something like this, right, whether it's just getting on video or getting on the air, it feels like a stretch, right? It's like, oh no, I don't know if I can do that. And we think of the professionals that we see all the time, on TV and whatnot, or even the people who are doing great in our industry that are very seasoned professionals now, right, with their podcasts. Yeah. But I found, like, in the beginning, I was so nervous, like, whoa, what if I don't know what to say? What if I don't know what question to ask? Maybe I should have these all prepared. But because it's a subject I love, it's near and dear to my heart, the people are talking my language, it's easy. It's easy to ask questions. It's easy to have these conversations, and it doesn't take a lot of preparation.
Yeah, no, I mean, once you're passionate about something, transparency is key, especially with video. Everything comes through really, as you see on camera. And, you want to ensure that people kind of relate to you. So, there's no reason to go and watch hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos anymore, because there's people out there that you can just connect and answer the questions in just a couple minutes. And that's why, podcasting community has been so great. There's so many people that you can reach out and get free advice, and everything is new. So everything is going to be scary. The equipment is new, the channels are new, the resources are new. Now it's going to be in cars. How you get in cars, all these unknowns, it's always going to give you analysis paralysis. You're always going to be, oh, I'm going to get that resistance, and you're going to stop doing it. Me, I tell you all this stuff, but I never went to marketing school. I never went to business school. I never went to podcasting school. I never went to video school. I've learned all of this stuff on the fly, through experience, putting myself through trial and error, trying to learn it as much as possible, and then trying to teach other people as well. So I commend you for creating your own podcasting course, because the more you can teach other people to do this, you're just going to benefit as well.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, I run a company that has a team that implements technology for people, and people find it hard to believe, but I literally hate technology in the sense, I love what it does for us, but I do not like doing it. I do not like to be the person that's trying to figure out the latest and the greatest, even all this analytics and things that you're talking about. But the point is that there are people, and I have built a team of people who can do that and help me. But above that is just getting started is the hard thing, because if you put the condition on yourself that I'm not going to do it until I really know what I'm doing, I'm not going to take a step into that water until I absolutely know how deep it is you'll never get to learn how to swim, right? You just got to do it.
Oh, I've totally been there. Even when I went from corporate to freelance, me with my ego, I thought I knew it all. But going into my own business, I never ran a business before. I never did P&L, never did cash flow before. So, I fell on my face really, really fast. But going through that experience, I learned how to problem solve. And with anything that we do on the web, it's always problem solving. We're trying to fix our podcast, trying to edit it the right way, get our show notes, trying to connect with the right audience, try to optimize. All this different stuff always going on. There's always going to be problems. So, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, try to have a growth or abundant mindset. There's always more opportunity out there, and don't stress yourself out.
Yeah. Well, thanks. And so, Alex, it would be fun to keep talking, because I could think of a whole bunch of things we could talk about, but hopefully we'll have you back on Straight Talk Sales and Marketing again in the near future, and we can kind of carry on this discussion and talk about some new and different angles. But I really, really appreciate having you here today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for everybody who is out there, we hope that you will go to our page, www.straighttalksalesandmarketing.com, and take advantage of reading a little more about Alex. His podcast will be listed there, his website, if you'd like to go and visit him. We hope you do. And also, if you like to pick up a free copy of Sell from the Heart, my ebook, you can find it there. And as always, if you would like to connect and just chat a little bit, you can reach me at janet@thefreedomshift.com. And I'm always looking for new networking contacts, so feel free to drop me a line. And until next week, I am sending you lots of light and love. And a big thank you goes out to Alex. Say bye, Alex.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody. Talk to you next week.
And thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the podcast. So now it is time for you to go out there and start optimizing your marketing. What from this episode are you going to put in practice in your business? Let us know by visiting straighttalksalesandmarketing.com/010 for episode number 10. And just leave a message in the comments there. Let us know what was your biggest takeaway from this episode and what are you going to start implementing in your business right now. If you haven't done so yet, please go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes by visiting straighttalksalesandmarketing.com/iTunes and just hitting the little subscribe button there. And while you're there, be sure to leave a review for the podcast because reviews help us spread the message about this podcast and helps people decide if this is the right podcast for them. And we want to get this message to as many people as possible. So if you want to pay back, show your appreciation for this podcast, just simply let people know by leaving a review. And you can do that by going to straighttalksalesandmarketing.com/iTunes and just clicking on the little rating and reviews tab up in the corner. So until next time, it's time for you to go out there and make the shift to financial freedom today.